welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I am doing the end of the year book tag. Can't believe it's time to do this tag again already. I think I've done it every year on my channel, and it sounds like it would be something to wrap up the whole year, but actually it's not. It's a tag talking about your plans for the last quarter of the year. But it's also really weird that it's already the last quarter of the year. This tag was originally created by Ariel Bissett, so I'll link her down below, and let's dive into the questions. Question number 1 is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? And the answer is yes and no. So yes as in I have started some books in October that I'm gonna need to finish, but no as in I don't have any carryover books that are kind of like looming over my head that I hope to finish by the end of the year. And I actually started October with a clean slate in that I had finished books that I started in September. I think in previous years I've had books that I kind of softy enough through the year that I still wanted to finish by the end of the year, and that's not the case this year. I did have a couple that I softy enough, but I knew that I wasn't going to get back to them this year. Question number 2 is, do you have an autumnal book to transition you into the end of the year? And yes, I do. The main one that I have is October Country by Ray Bradbury, which I'm reading with my friend Whitney, and this is a collection of Bradbury short stories, which just felt so perfect for fall. But in addition to that, I am reading some fall books that have been recommended by some of you. Keep your eyes out. There will be a vlog of me talking about that. But I do have some books that definitely have hardcore fall vibes that I'm really enjoying. Question number 3 is there a new release you are still waiting for? Yes, there is, and you probably already know what it is. It's Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson, which is the 5th book in the Stormlight Archive and wraps up the first arc that he is doing. So this will conclude that. And I'm so excited because I feel like I have spent years reading the Stormlight Archive, not as much as some of you. Some of you started Sanderson way before I did, but I have been reading all the Stormlight books and associated books for like the last couple of years. And so it's really exciting to think that like book 5 is almost here, and I don't know, I'm bracing myself because I think I'll probably cry. Question number 4 is, what are 3 books you want to read by the end of the year? So there are quite a few books that I would love to read by the end of the year, but I do have some definitive plans for a few of them. One of them is Kristen Lavrenstatter, which I just started, and I am reading this over the course of October, November, and December. The huge volume that I have, there's actually like 3 books within that. So I'm reading 1 book a month with Tia. The next month I'm planning to read The Tenant of Wildfell Hall by Anne Bronte. If you've been here on my channel for like over a year, you'll know that my favorite fictional book of last year was Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. So this is actually probably my very most anticipated read of the whole year, and I'm really excited. I'm also planning to reread David Copperfield by Charles Dickens in December. Haven't read this since high school, but remember quite a bit of it because I have watched like the miniseries and stuff and really just loved it a lot. So I'm really looking forward to rereading that. So those are kind of like the 3 chunky books that I have plans to read for the end of the year. But in addition to that, I'll be wrapping up Mist Along. So I have been reading through the Mistborn series with some friends this year, and I still have the Bands of Mourning and the Lost Metal to complete all the Mistborn books, as well as Secret History. So that's actually more than 3 books that I just gave you, but you know, I wanted it to be not just classics. There are still some other books that are definitely on the docket. Question number 5, is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? Yes, I'm actually kind of anticipating Tenant of Wildfell Hall like overthrowing everything I've already read this year. That's what my expectation is going in. So hopefully I don't let myself down with that, because Agnes Grey surprised me with how much I loved it. So I'm kind of wondering if I'm hyping myself up too high with Tenant of Wildfell Hall, but hopefully not. I think there's a possibility that Kristen Lavrenstatter could also be a favorite of the year. I've heard a lot of people really, really love this one, and I'm not very far into it at the time of filming this. I've only read a couple of chapters, but the writing is just really beautiful and I'm already enjoying it. So that's a possibility. And then I am reading a nonfiction with my in-person book club next month called The Shepherd's Life by James Rebank. And this is a memoir of a shepherd who is living in England and is fairly uneducated, I think. And then he kind of becomes self-taught and then I think is able to attend Oxford if I'm remembering correctly. Anyways, the title and like some of the information I've gotten about the book gives me James Herriot vibes. I don't know if it's gonna feel like that, but James Herriot is like one of my favorites ever in the whole world. So I have high hopes for A Shepherd's Life. Question number 6 is, have you already started making plans for next year? I have, actually. So I feel like the last 2 years have been very Sanderson heavy with reading a lot of Stormlight, reading all of Mistborn, reading quite a few of his secret projects, just different things like that. So feeling like 2025 is going to be a break from Sanderson and I'm going to swap over to Robin Hobb. I have read the Farseer trilogy and just adored it and really, really wanted to continue on, but I had made so many commitments to read other books that I just hadn't made time for it. So 2025 is going to be the year of Hobb and I am going to pick up The Realm of the Elderlings again and I am so excited. I also have plans to pick up the Anne books next year, probably with Stephanie, and I'm really excited about that because I have not reread a lot of those books since I was a child. I've reread the first 2 or 3 with my daughter, but I haven't reread most of the other books as an adult, and so the idea of picking up some of those is really, really exciting to me and feels like a good like cozy offset to planning to read Hobb. I also am already starting to schedule buddy reads and have quite a few scheduled already, although my plans in 2025 are to scale way back on buddy reads and on like large commitments like really long read-alongs and stuff like that. I plan to do not quite as many of those next year. I'd like to have a year where I can just do less in terms of like plans, like leaving myself open to pick up books that I feel like picking up, because I feel like this year has been like very scheduled, which is not a bad thing. I haven't felt overwhelmed most months. I've only had a couple months where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just too much. But I still haven't had the opportunity to just like pick up a book. Like most of the books that I read every month are buddy reads, and so that kind of like limits me in a way, and that I tend to not ever DNF buddy reads, very rarely. Usually a buddy read will keep me accountable to finish it even if I'm not really enjoying it that much. Not that I've had that many books that I've truly wanted to DNF, but I just feel like in general, like I haven't had as much space to mood read. Last month, I just talked about this in September, I did DNF because I had not quite as many buddy reads last month, and it was kind of nice to have the freedom to just be like, this book isn't working for me, and so I don't have to make it work for me. I can just say, I'll pick it up later, or I won't pick it up again at all. And so it was really nice to have that freedom and to be able to try some things that maybe I don't typically read and not have the pressure of like having to finish it. So I'd like to be able to continue that next year and have a little bit more space. I have a ton of buddy reads in October, but in November and December I only have like 1 or 2 in each month, and I kind of want to keep it that way because it's just really nice to have the freedom to be able to like dip in and out of different genres, or you know, whatever, just not feel totally scheduled to death. So that is a plan I would like to make for next year. I'm sure when we get closer to next year, I'll probably have a video talking about goals, and I'll probably have that come up, and that has come up every single year, I think, in my goals videos, just trying to create like more of a margin and not feel like stressed out by taking too much on my plate. Overall, I think I've done better this year, that I haven't felt the overwhelm from reading quite as much. So I have hopes that I can continue and just improve. Anyway, that's the end of the year book tag. I would love to hear some of your answers down below. I do always have all of the questions for tags linked in the description of the video, so that way you can refer back if you want to, or if you have a booktube channel and you've not yet done this tag, you can just find the questions really easily there and let me know if you do this tag, because I would love to hear your answers and your plans for the rest of 2024. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me, and I will see you again next time.